So now I want to dive into social contracts, which the social contract was termed by the French philosopher Rousseau as kind of an antiquated idea, as well as Rousseau's kind of off his rocker. So I'm just going to bastardize this whole idea of the social contract and use it to kind of look at things structurally and how looking at things that way shows the failings of individual morals and ethics. Because this idea of the social contract is that we agree to giving up rights. So basically, I can't kill you and steal your shit if I wanted to, even if I thought that I needed to for survival. I agree not to do that, and we all live peacefully, happily. And obviously it's important for civilization, because otherwise we would just be doing whatever we want. So we don't do whatever we want. I would say even our values and, in a sense, morals come from that. So not only do I not steal your shit, but I also agree that it's wrong to, even wrong to want to. So this is, not natural in, I guess, an animalistic sense, kind of sticking with that theme. And I would say that morals and values don't really exist in nature. But if you're going to live in the social contract and benefit from it, you have to go along with it, with its morals, because otherwise it falls apart. That's the only way it works, is if everybody agrees to it and sticks to it. So where it fails, though, is this idea of individual morality. So I'm going to look at the U.S. as one big social contract, and certainly there's problems with that, but just to keep it simple. So there are people within the social contract who are not benefiting from the social contract, who are failed by the social contract. So you can look at gangs as most. I mean, when we think of gangs now, we think of minorities, of blacks and Hispanics typically. And I think that you have a group of people who are being oppressed, being picked on, who are basically, the social contract is failing them, so they form their own social contract, and it's different than the bigger social contract, right? Because it's contingent. Whatever the social contract is contingent. It's not any one set of rules. It's not capitalism or socialism or whatnot. It's basically just constantly changing. So it's really nebulous what it is. So they start their own, and this social contract that exists within the larger one, this little one here, takes care of them, right? So it becomes more real than the bigger social contract. Also, going back and talking about reality, certain things within the social contract are allowed that are not allowed within this larger one, which is where crime comes in. I'm not saying, again, that all the crime is okay, but certainly if the larger social contract took care of all of its people within it, if it didn't subject or neglect certain people, then these smaller social contracts wouldn't be formed, and crime and violence, etc., which is permissible within the small social contract. I think you can also look at homelessness in a similar way, in that you have people who are failed by the social contract. They fall through the grid, they fall through the cracks, right? A lot of mental institutions were shut down in the 50s or 60s because of government funding. That was the first thing to go. Also, I think you have homelessness that arises from people who do not want to be a part of this bigger social contract, so they don't really benefit from it and they don't give to it. So I think that if you are building the social contract itself needs to deal with that there are going to be people who are living in the area and within it that are not benefiting from it. There are people who cannot, and so how is it going to deal with that, right? Obviously through, trying to take care of its people. Also moving outside, so you have this country, right, the USA, which is the social contract, and then another one, right, and what is their responsibility to each other. Because you can look at the U.S. involvement in Central and South America and the way in which we're subjecting the people, the resources, etc., etc. We're killing thousands of people. We're basically utilizing slave labor. We're stealing resources, and it's seemingly permissible. And now we can all say, well, that's wrong, you shouldn't do that. And yet, what we're saying and how we're living are completely different, right? Because our involvement there is for capitalism, for consumerism, and we're consuming in a way in which supports, right, bananas, coffee, sugar. So we're all benefiting we're benefiting from fucking them over. And as long as we're continuing to benefit from them, we're going to continue fucking them over. So here it's almost, I mean, it's seemingly morally permissible because we're not hurting anyone within our social contract, we're hurting the others. And, that's where I think individual morals fail, because we're certainly all good people here. We certainly consider ourselves moral. And yet, what do we do about this issue? Because it's a failing of a social contract. It's a failing of individual morals, because individual morals aren't going to solve this problem. There needs to be widespread structural changes, and the idea of consuming or not consuming isn't one of a moral principle. It's not that consuming is wrong. It's just that the level that we're at here is hurting other people, and it's hurting people that's not, and it's all being hidden from us. There's many places in the world that the U.S. has taken advantage of, and is currently taking advantage of, and many things that we are doing that we would consider wrong, and yet considering them wrong doesn't change anything. So even though we're moral people, it's not about morals. It's about, I don't know, the bigger picture, right? Looking at things structurally, which is very reminiscent of structuralism, which I'm about 50 years late for. So I'm not sure what the conclusion of this actually is, or what the takeaway is, because I can't offer any solutions. I don't know, I guess do with it what you will. Again, if you have any thoughts on this, or if you've read anything, know anything about this that would kind of put me in a good direction, then let me know. Alright, see you guys later.